Happy holidays, everybody, and Tony here with my tribute to the Christmas aliens from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, which was released on VHS and DVD on October 19, 2004, and also aired on the Fox box on December 25 of that same year. This was directed by Roy Burdine and written by Michael Ryan. Speaking to you as a millennial born in 1992, I was pretty much familiar with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was quite the huge pop culture juggernaut next to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, RoboCop, and even the Flintstones and the Jetsons combined. On top of that, this was a franchise that spawned a great deal of imitators, such as Battletoads and Biker Mars from outer space. Yes, I might have caught the 1987 cartoon here and there on television, but there was one incarnation in which my siblings and I caught almost religiously on Cartoon Network, and that was the 2003 incarnation. When I found myself tuning in to TMNT 2003, I was totally blown away by the action, tension, suspense, thrills, and that great sense of high-octane excitement that I managed to acquire each time I watched all of the episodes. I will admit that a lot of the earlier episodes were the strongest ones that TMNT 2003 had to offer. Fast forward, I was a little bit indifferent with because I was already in my teens, more specifically between 14 to 15 years old, and Back to the Sewer, I wasn't really into it. But suffice it to say, the earlier seasons of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 were absolutely brilliant, filled to the brim with top-tier writing, a whole lot of tension, and a whole lot of exciting moments for each of the characters. Some fans of the original Peter Laird comic book series also argue that the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles television series was also quite close to the original comic book, specifically where the grittier, more high-octane story elements came to play. The 2003 incarnation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also stood against the slightly campier and a lot more Saturday morning cartoon feel nature of the 1987 version. I could also still enjoy TMNT 2003 for its high-octane action, great balance of comedy, camp, excitement, thrills, and the occasional horror elements, and the top-tier writing that challenges its main and supporting characters. Therefore, both the 1987 and 2003 incarnations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do have their strengths in terms of being animated series, let alone great animated series in their own rights. But I still lean towards Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 for its high-octane action, great sense of excitement, and awesome use of tension, especially when the going gets tough for our main heroes. And I've even argued that the Christmas Aliens is one of my favorite episodes from TMNT 2003, up there with Meet Casey Jones, as well as the episodes involving the Fugitoid and many of the other series episodes, especially when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves have to fight against Shredder and even deal with the Krang army, which I also thought that the excitement levels reached the roof when it came to a lot of these high-octane, action-packed episodes. And the reason why I cherish the Christmas Aliens so much is that this is an example of yet another cartoon that balances great high-octane action, holiday warmth, and a great deal of humor to make this episode work fantastically, as well as use its sense of tension to its great advantage. And therefore, never forget that our main heroes are also fighters who do what they can to defend themselves against their enemies using their combat prowess as well as overall conscientiousness. Please take note of that. I'm dreaming of a White Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3. Thank you very much. Anyway, this episode contains a lot of great highlights, but the moments with Michelangelo, aka Mikey, are the ones that have become the bread and butter of this particular Christmas episode. Yes, I may love Raphael, aka Raph, as my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle of all time, next to Leonardo and Donatello combined, but Mikey always has a special place in my heart growing up because he is a great combination of ebullience, joviality, amusement, joyful charisma, and a whole lot of excitement and distinction brimming from his every pore. His approachable personality also makes him a welcome friend to the kids, especially when he demonstrates his mad snowboarding skills. And even when he has a wipeout, he doesn't mumble and grumble about it. No, he instead takes advantage of the snow on him and makes a snow angel, as well as show the kids that all isn't good fun, although they accidentally threw snowballs at him. Nevertheless, I could definitely relate to Mikey's joviality, and when he finds a new friend in Clunk, an orphan kitten, that's when my admiration for Mikey reached the roof. And that doesn't stop there. He also has an affinity for action figures, including the latest model of little orphan alien dolls, aside from the superhero action figures that he so wants to collect. However, Mikey's holiday cheer is almost about to be dashed when 3 purple dragon robbers in the forms of Spike, Sunny, and Teuton attempt to rob from the proprietor and Desire a huge horde of little orphan alien dolls so that they can smuggle it online and hope to make a profit out of it. But Mikey is not having any of it. He fights tooth and nail against them and makes it his sworn mission to not only make sure that justice is brought upon them, but according to the proprietor, he also wants to make sure that those little orphan alien dolls get delivered safe and sound to the orphanage for all the children there. So Mikey's selflessness is definitely at an all-time high. It also makes me appreciate Mikey a lot more because on the first glance, you might think that he is a happy-go-lucky, jolly, and overly jovial individual who speaks in California surfer dude. But there's a lot more to Mikey than just his California surfer dude joviality. He is in fact a generous soul and someone who looks at the bright side of life and is someone who will stand up for what is right. And in this case, he is willing to give Clunk a home as well as a name and fight hook or crook, tooth and nail against the purple dragon thieves to ensure that the orphan children have a very Merry Christmas. He even proves himself to be crafty, hanging on to dear life on a rope while Sunny is driving the getaway truck. And seeing Mikey still being his jovial, happy-go-lucky self while he's pursuing these criminals also makes me admire him a whole lot more because he is someone who is not this stone-cold badass who wants to beat you up. He just wants to do the right thing and do so with a lot of charisma, charm, and standing up for what is right, not only for his family, but the people that he considers to be his good friends. On top of that, Mikey's persistence is thoroughly admirable. Whether he hangs on to dear life with that rope on the getaway truck or uses his crafty ninja skills to unleash a claw to climb over the truck to take over from Sunny, or even integrate his physical formidability to beat up Spike and Two-Ton, he could pretty much do it all while maintaining a sunny disposition. His craftiness and formidability are also great assets when he throws Sunny out of the truck and makes him land on one of the police cars, and he does all of this while still tending to Clunk. Furthermore, while Sunny has backup from their boss, Mikey doesn't give up, as he is willing to not go down without a fight and outsmarts the Purple Dragon's crooks every move, while members such as Spike uses brute force and vicious weapons. Mikey instead uses his instinct to outsmart them and to even overpower them. His example of stopping when the three crooks get too close to him demonstrates that he is one step ahead of the game, and also sees the three Purple Dragon crooks crash and end up in such a pickle. But Mikey's exciting adventure doesn't stop there, as he also ends up being chased by police officers who mistake him for one of the cronies, thus having Mikey lead them to such a high-speed chase while being quite regretful about it, yet he still remains focused on his mission to go back home. And speaking of home, that's another highlight about this particular Christmas episode. Leonardo, aka Leo, Donatello, aka Don or Donnie, and Raphael, aka Raph, preparing for the holiday festivities with Master Splinter, Casey, and April. And Raph has a lot of brilliant moments, with him helping Casey out with a Christmas tree, trimming said Christmas tree with a couple of short swords, and proving that he has a bit of a jovial side to him underneath all of that brute force and Brooklyn rage when he licks the bow of cookie dough that Donatello made for the Christmas cookies. And it's not just Master Splinter, Casey, April, Leo, Dawn, and Raph preparing for the holiday festivities, but there are also other guests arriving to their home to celebrate the holidays. The Professor, Angel, Ernie, Phil, the Silver Sentry, Daimyo, Murakami Genosuke, and Miyamoto Usagi all come together to celebrate the Christmas season while also waiting for Mikey to arrive. And the camaraderie with all of these characters proves that this is how an ensemble work is done so magnificently, by also integrating them as best as they can. I definitely enjoyed that flirtatious moment that Casey had with April, although she's not totally buying it with him and the mistletoe right on top of them, which is of course set up by Raph and Angel under the order of Casey. But April gives Casey one nice thwack on the cheek with a mistletoe, with Raph and Angel commenting on how much that must have hurt. The Silver Sentry engaging in an arm wrestling match, first with Casey, which ended up with Casey being flung to the wall, then with both Casey and Raph, but same story, they end up being flung to the wall. But the next match with April is when she gets it under control, or it seems to be that she was trying to play a trick on both Casey and Raph, thus proving how crafty she is, and is yet another favorite character that I've always admired from TMNT 2003. And on top of that, her little moment with the Silver Sentry was a whole lot of fun, expositing that this was quite the fun ruse that she pulled off on Raph and Casey, and attempting to reward the Silver Sentry with her homemade double chocolate chip cookies. At first, the Silver Sentry politely refuses her reward, but in a really cute moment, he insists that he might as well have the cookies because he really likes them. And it also shows me right there that underneath all of that virility, muscle, and super strength is someone who is quite a jolly soul, and someone who has a soft side to him that made me also love the Silver Sentry so much as a character. Usagi and Leonardo also have a nice moment together in which they exchange gifts, and Genosuke's lovable surliness is in great evidence when he calls their swords toys and cannot wait for the food. Master Splinter also has a spiritual moment using an orb to communicate with Hamato Yoshi, which I thought was a really tender moment, and I thought that it also encapsulated the deep bond that Master Splinter had with Hamato Yoshi. With everybody impatiently waiting for Mikey at the dinner table, Mikey ends up returning home in a flash and exposits where he's been. He also has a better plan on how the holidays should be celebrated by visiting the orphanage, complete with giving the kids little orphan alien dolls, and the holiday cheer is an absolutely great show. Leo, Raph, Dawn, and Mikey are all playful with the children. Same goes for Silver Sentry. April decides to give Casey a peck on the cheek once she spots some mistletoe, thus making him quite charmed at her gesture. And even Master Splinter expresses how happy and proud he is of his sons, especially Mikey, for preserving that good Christmas cheer with everybody happy. This was definitely a great time I had with the Christmas Aliens from TMNT 2003. It was so full of tension, excitement, action, thrills, and some laughs here and there. The balance between kick-butt action on Mikey's side of the story and some slice of light sweetness, comedy, and a great deal of touching moments in terms of Leo, Raph, Dawn, and all the rest of the guests, including April, Casey, Usagi, Genosuke, Daimyo, Ernie, Phil, the professor, and Angel, were absolutely brilliant. There was not one boring moment that I spotted, and this is a definite must-watch if you are hankering for a great TMNT 2003 Christmas episode. I would even recommend it to those who have only been familiar with the 1987 incarnation, because the Christmas Aliens was a great blast from beginning to end, and this is also thanks to the great voice work done by Wayne Grayson, who embodied Michelangelo, aka Mikey, with ebullience, charisma, charm, and a whole lot of lovability, to the point where he has joined Raph as one of my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of all time. And I also have to give loads of props to Mark Thompson, Michael Sinterniklas, Sam Riegel, Veronica Taylor, Tara Jane, Dan Green, Jason Griffith, and all of the voice actors and voice actresses for putting a lot of heart, soul, and effort into making their characters come to life. And to think that this was produced by 4Kids, which this company is considered taboo by a lot of hardcore anime fans. Nevertheless, at least everybody behind the production of TMNT 2003, especially where this Christmas episode was concerned, put all of their heart, minds, and souls into this particular animated series to make it stand out with great distinction and a whole lot of excitement, and even respected some of the elements from the original comic books. And for those of you who caught TMNT 2003's The Christmas Aliens, what'd you think of it? Did you feel that Mikey was able to make this episode extremely memorable, as well as his wonderfully warm relationship with Clunk, considering that he ended up adopting her to be not only his pet, but also a part of the family? Did you also feel that this episode was a great combination of exciting action, a whole lot of thrills, and a great deal of warm humor to boot? Was there a favorite moment that you had, whether it be from the high-octane action moments or the sweet and touching moments from a lot of the other characters? Or did you feel like this episode was not really a standout one? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my tribute to the Christmas Angels from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003. Tune in later where I do my tribute to Fanny Craddock Cook's Christmas. So until then, happy holidays, everybody.